WVTT Information Overload. Texas freshman Senator Ted Cruz is crediting a fellow Republican for giving him a grand stage on the Senate floor last week. Cruz helped Senator Rand Paul during Paul's 13-hour filibuster. Now, it was Senator Cruz's first time on the Senate floor, and he just had some fascinating pieces of history to share with fellow senators. Take a listen.
The very first time I spoke on this floor in a colloquy with Senator Paul, I had the opportunity to read Travis's letter from the Alamo, to read Shakespeare's St. Crispin's Day speech, to read the opening monologue from Patton, and to read Ronald Reagan's 1964 A Time for Choosing speech. And that is a debt I will always owe Senator Paul, because as they say in the beer commercial, it don't get no better than that. And so sadly, I can promise my colleagues that in the rest of my tenure here, I am confident that we will not have an opportunity to rival those glorious words William Barrett Travis penned as he was standing for principle 177 years ago.
Well, that filibuster delayed John Brennan's confirmation as CIA director until Senator Paul got answers about America's controversial drone program, and Brennan did get confirmed Thursday, not long after Paul ended his filibuster. Senator John McCain also made an appearance on Senate TV to talk about budget cuts and wasting money.
For example, $65 million for Pacific Coast salmon restorations for states, including Nevada. We're going to restore salmon restoration in the state of Nevada. Department of Defense to overpay contracts by an additional 5%, totaling $15 million to contractors who are native Hawaiian-owned companies. I would be glad to include this long list for the record. $993,000 in grants to dig private wells for private property owners. $120 million for Guam, the National Guard Starbase Youth Program, $5 million, $154 million for alternative energy resource, on and on, while we have ships that can't leave port, planes that can't fly, and men and women who can't train and equip, and we have this kind of stuff on appropriations bills.
A desperate search is underway for a missing Louisiana elementary school teacher. 26-year-old Terry Lynn Monette vanished a week ago. She was last with friends at a bar on March 2nd to celebrate her nomination for Teacher of the Year, and police tell us she told them she was going to take a nap in her car before going home. She hasn't been seen since. Now, the bar manager says one of the bartenders had cut off Monette, indicating the teacher appeared to have too much to drink. Hundreds of volunteers and police have scoured New Orleans, but so far, no clues. Her mother believes someone may be holding Monette captive, and she gave an emotional plea to CNN earlier today.
I just want them to know to please bring my baby back home to me. Please. It's very hard. It's very hard. I can't sleep at night. I can't sleep at night. I can't eat. I keep thinking about my child and where she could be. I just want her back. So please, if you're listening and you're watching this, please bring Terry Lynn home. Please, that's all I want. I want her home.
Now, authorities say the teacher was seen talking to a man in the parking lot of the bar on March 2nd. Police have questioned that person. He's not considered a suspect in the disappearance. The Boy Scouts of America is considering a change in its policy against allowing openly gay members. Now the Boy Scouts have sent out a questionnaire that goes beyond a simple yes or no on the subject. Among the 9 questions, is it acceptable for a gay scout and a straight scout to share a tent on an overnight camping trip? The survey sent to leaders and parents includes 5 multiple-choice answers, ranging from totally acceptable to totally unacceptable. In February, the group's National Executive Board postponed a vote on lifting its outright ban on openly homosexual scouts and troop leaders. The board says the decision will be made at the group's annual meeting in May. The Boy Scouts said in a statement that they're in, quote, the listening phase, and they're reviewing a number of issues. The jury has reached a verdict in the New York City cannibal cop case. This morning, the panel found former police officer Gilberto Valle guilty of plotting to kidnap and eat women. He was also convicted on charges of illegally accessing a federal law enforcement database. Valle was arrested and suspended without pay last October. He didn't attack any of the women he plotted against, and he's now facing life in prison. At least 38 people were injured, 6 of them seriously, after a horrendous pileup involving at least 100 cars on the Autobahn near Münzenberg, Germany, caused by the treacherous weather conditions due to the snowstorm that hit much of Europe earlier this week. Well, one person is dead and several others injured in a 3-vehicle crash on a highway in northern New York. You can see emergency vehicles on the scene here in the southbound lanes of I-87. Investigators tell WVTT a Porsche lost control. It was traveling in front of a bus carrying a Vermont College lacrosse team. The passenger in the Porsche, a 64-year-old woman, was killed. The 65-year-old driver is hospitalized in stable condition. 4 members of the lacrosse team suffered minor injuries, and police are trying to figure out what caused the accident. A firefighter ended up battling a blaze at his own home on New York's Long Island Tuesday night. Authorities tell WVTT a man crashed a pickup truck into the house. Both the house and truck caught fire. The truck also hit the natural gas line leading into the house, causing an explosion. A woman and 2 kids were inside the house at the time. They got out safely and weren't hurt. The owner, a volunteer firefighter, was sent to the scene. Initially, it was given the wrong address, but it quickly became apparent that it was his house that was burning down. The driver of the pickup was charged with driving while impaired by drugs, as well as second-degree reckless endangerment. Iran may sue the Hollywood filmmakers of Argo, including Ben Affleck and George Clooney. Government officials claim the award-winning movie presents, quote, an unrealistic portrayal of Iran during the 1979 hostage crisis. Iran also plans to produce its own cinematic response to the film. Argo has not been released in Iran. And that's WVTT's Information Overload.